Trafficking in person, or TIP in short, is a transnational crime where vulnerable individuals are recruited and conveyed, often through coercive and deceitful means for the purpose of exploitation. While TIP can affect anyone, it mainly involves women and young children. Singapore is seen as an attractive destination by human trafficking syndicates due to the perception of potential monetary gains. Recognizing this threat, the Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Manpower, and other agencies have set up an inter-agency task force against trafficking in persons in 2010, with the aim of implementing a whole-of-government strategy to combat TIP more effectively. Since its formation, the task force has made substantial progress. Notably, it launched a national plan of action last year, which focuses on A. Prevention of the crime, B. Protection of the victims, C. Partnership with stakeholders, and D. Protection of offenders. Prosecution of offenders. Prevention of TIP. In terms of prevention, our tight border control measures deter perpetrators from trafficking persons into Singapore. Frontline officers are trained to identify victims. Raising public awareness is another key thrust of prevention. In January this year, the task force established a grant of up to $80,000 per year to co-fund public awareness initiatives. This is supplemented by other efforts such as publicizing TIP cases through the media. Partnership with stakeholders. Working with strategic partners to multiply our efforts on the ground is another limb of Singapore anti-trafficking strategy. At the international level, we partner other countries, whether source, transit, or destination, to break the vicious cycle in human trafficking. This includes joint efforts to tackle organized crime that profit from the exploitation of the vulnerable. Indeed, while Singapore has worked hard to continue to do so, source countries too have the responsibility to uplift conditions so that their citizens will not have to resort to desperate and risky ventures. Source countries should not depend solely on downstream measures to address this scourge. We'll also work closely with foreign counterparts to exchange information and organize capacity building workshops to increase law enforcement knowledge. In addition, the task force regularly engages and partners non-government organizations to provide victim care and services. Thirdly, protection of victims. The protection of the well-being of victims is particularly critical, especially those who may have been abused. Victims are provided with temporary shelter, food, counseling, and medical assistance as appropriate. We are studying the need to have more victim-centric measures to aid the victims in their recovery. Lastly, prosecution. To deter trafficking in persons, Singapore relies on the tough laws and the effective prosecution of offenders. The Attorney General Chambers, Police and MOM has specialist teams to handle TIP investigations and prosecution. The task force has also been actively reviewing domestic legislation to ensure they are relevant and effective for combating trafficking offences. While we have provisions in various laws to criminalize trafficking acts, our review has confirmed the need for the dedicated law to combat trafficking. This will bring several benefits. First, it allows us to put in place a consistent and forward-looking framework to deal with all types of TIP offences. Second, we equip agencies with the necessary levers to deal with the different modus operandi of TIP criminal groups. Third, this would clearly reflect Singapore's commitment to fight TIP to the global community and align us to international standards. Madam Speaker, the task force has made good progress in tackling human trafficking. We will continue to advance initiatives under the National Plan of Action. At the same time, the task force will work to enhance international cooperation so that countries may collectively tackle this global threat.